You've probably heard this a million times. Great leaders have to be empathetic. It's just one of those things we all assume is true. But what if the data tells a completely different story? Today, we're going to dig into why for some of the world's most decisive leaders, empathy isn't just a low priority, it's actually seen as a liability.
So let's just get right to it. Is empathy, the ability to feel what others are feeling, a total must-have for leadership? I mean, it seems like a no-brainer, right? But is that a universal truth, or is it just something our culture happens to value right now?
Okay, get ready for this because this is where the conventional wisdom gets turned on its head. A global poll of more than 2,700 people spit out this number, -0.0270. Now, that's the statistical correlation between leaders who value empathy and those with what we call red values. A negative number like that means they're inversely related. As one goes up, the other goes down. It's this tiny number that's a huge clue something really fascinating is going on under the surface.
So what's going on with that negative number? Well, it reveals something we're calling the empathy paradox. For a certain type of leader, empathy isn't just not on the list of priorities, it's seen as a distraction, something that gets in the way of real leadership. Let's break down what that mindset actually looks like.
And to understand that mindset, we need to talk about something called the red vMEME. It's a concept from a model of human development called spiral dynamics. Just think of it as a psychological operating system. The red stage isn't about good or evil. It's a value system that is laser-focused on power, on making an impact, and on taking decisive, immediate action. It's that warrior mindset, the drive to make your mark on the world right now.
And this quote just nails the logic, doesn't it? From this red perspective, you don't earn respect by saying, "I feel your pain." Respect is something you claim by being strong, by winning, by getting things done. It's the results that matter, not the emotional connection.
Let's really dig into the why here. From the red point of view, this isn't just a preference, it's straight-up strategy. Empathy looks like a weakness, an opening for your rivals to challenge you. It gums up the works when you need to make fast, gut decisions. And if you're in a competitive dog-eat-dog world, worrying about the other guy's feelings is how you lose. For them, real leadership is about strength and command, period.
But here's the thing. Red is just one piece of the puzzle. Leadership is a whole spectrum of colors. So how does this red approach to empathy stack up against the others?
Okay, now this table is so revealing. You'll notice red isn't alone here. Look at orange. That's the driven, achievement-focused mindset. It has an even stronger negative link to empathy. Even blue, which is all about order and rules, has a slight negative correlation. But then, look at green, the community-minded value system. It's the only one that swings positive, and it does so pretty strongly. And that's the real kicker. This idea that empathy is the be-all and end-all of leadership, that's really a green idea, not a universal one.
So, you might be thinking, okay, interesting numbers, but so what? Well, this is where it gets really powerful. These correlations aren't just trivia. They're the building blocks for an entirely new way of understanding and even predicting how people will behave inside an organization. It's like we're mapping the hidden wiring.
And this is a massive shift in thinking. The old way of managing was all about the what. What action do we take? We're going to cut costs. And it just assumed everyone would react pretty much the same. But the new way? It flips the script. It focuses on the who. It uses data to understand the deep-seated values of your team, knowing that the very same action can land in completely different ways for different people.
And the scale of this is just wild. That little number we started with, the one for red and empathy, that's just a single thread. The models we're talking about use a network of over 13,000 of these connections, these hidden wires, to map out the entire psychological landscape of a company. It's all about seeing the invisible forces that are actually driving things like morale and productivity.
Okay, so let's make this real. How does this predicting the ripple effect actually play out? Let's run a simulation with a pretty common and usually pretty painful management decision and see what the data predicts.
All right, here's the action. To save money, leadership announces a mandatory unpaid vacation policy. Now, your gut instinct, the old way of thinking, says this is going to be a disaster. Everyone's going to be furious, right? Well, it turns out it's not nearly that simple.
First, let's look at a team with a strong purple or tribal mindset. For these folks, group loyalty and safety are everything. And get this, the data predicts a positive reaction. How is that even possible? Because they don't see it as a personal pay cut. They see it as a shared sacrifice to save the tribe. It's a ritual, and weirdly enough, it can actually make them feel closer as a team.
Now, let's switch gears completely. What about a team with an orange or achiever mindset? Think of your top salespeople. For them, this is a totally different story. The reaction is strongly negative. They see it as a roadblock to their own success. Their paycheck is their scoreboard, and management just told them they're losing points. They'll see it as a sign the company is failing, and you can bet they'll be polishing up their resumes.
And finally, our green or community-focused team. Here we see another positive reaction, but the why is totally different from the purple team. They aren't thinking about tribal sacrifice, they're thinking about each other. If the policy is framed as, we do this so we don't have to lay anyone off, they'll accept the hit out of solidarity and care for their coworkers.
So let's just pause on that. The exact same action produces 3 completely different results. 2 of them are actually positive, and 1 is a catastrophe waiting to happen. And the most amazing part? It was all predictable. This is so much bigger than just managing by gut instinct. It's about having a data-driven map of your organization's mind.
So with all that in mind, let's circle back to where we started, that red leadership style. Now that we have more context, how should we think about it? Is it good? Is it bad? Well, the research actually points to 2 totally opposite conclusions. So you've got these 2 camps. On one side, people argue that red's lack of empathy is just smart, strategic thinking for a tough world. It prioritizes action and strength over feelings. But on the other side of the coin, you have people who see it as a major flaw, an inability to form healthy relationships that will eventually lead to a toxic culture and failure. Is it a strength, or is it a profound weakness just pretending to be strong? The data doesn't tell us who's right, it just shows us the pattern.
And this is probably the most important thing to take away from all of this. The goal here isn't to judge, to say that red is bad and green is good. The point is to have a map. It's to understand that these different psychological worlds exist, they play by different rules, and with the right data, you don't have to guess anymore. You can actually navigate them.
So I'll leave you with a question to chew on. For centuries, we've thought of leadership as this kind of magical, unteachable art form. But if we can start to decode it, if we can see the hidden wiring and predict the ripple effects with this kind of accuracy, is it still just an art, or is it slowly becoming an algorithm? And what would that even mean for the future of how we work together? Thanks for tuning in.